what's up, good peoples? What's going on, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? This is your boy, the Bearded Man Chronicles. Welcome to episode 21. I hope everybody is well. So let me bring in my guest. She's no stranger. This is the beautiful Shay.
Hey,
What's,
hey, hey.
what's up,
Happy
Mama? How you
hump day.
feeling? Right. Good to have you back.
Right. Good to be back. I'm excited. I'm ready for this show to get on the road.
That's what's up. All right, so the next guest, y'all, this man wear a lot of hats. So let me tell you about Mr. Marck Abraham. He holds a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a doctorate's degree. He's an author, a founder, CEO of MEA Consulting Services, which is designed to help poorly performing schools and organizations increase achievement of all students, especially young men of color. So everybody, let's welcome Dr. Marck Abraham to the show.
Yay.
What's up, family? What's up? And I'm gonna say Abraham, not Abram. I got the hand.
Abraham. Okay. Because you know everybody's kind of like finicky with that name. You know what I mean?
Is that a thing? Is that to be finicky with that name?
People say Abram. Some people say Abraham. You know, so I didn't know, but okay.
No, it's Abraham. You know.
All right. Well, let's give him a standing ovation. Well, listen, before we actually get into it, I got an icebreaker for you guys. So the icebreaker is, if you can go back and tell your 16-year-old self one thing, what would it be? Knowing what you know now. Come on, beautiful. I know you got something.
I would stay a vegan.
Okay.
I would be a vegan.
Okay.
Yep.
You would be a vegan. What about you, brother?
I would say, man, it's so much I want to say. Like, go invest in this stock market. Go put your money here. I would say, what would I say? I would say, save relationships for later. Intimate just for later, to love you, fall in love with you first before you try to get into relationships with other people.
I like that. That's a really good one. I think I would tell my 16-year-old self, you're gonna go through a lot, but you're resilient, and just stay strong. I would prepare myself because I'm telling you, life has been a roller coaster. But
that's interesting. I want to hear about Mr. Abraham. Why did you say save love? Why do you think love needs to be saved?
What's up, Art?
I think that love don't need to be saved. You need to fall in love with you first.
Okay, I thought you said save love for later. Is what
I say, but yeah, save the trying to fall in love with somebody else at such a young age while you're not developed yet and you don't know yourself yet.
Okay.
And so take time to know you more.
Okay.
Before you try to know somebody else.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
I like that. What's going on Facebook? Please make sure to share this live. If you're on YouTube, please be sure to like, share, and most importantly, share.
Yoko said he would say, go big or sit your ass down.
What's up, cuz? Love you. So listen, Dr. Abraham, let us know, kind of fill us in about your story and where you ended up. And man, I'm telling you guys got to get this book. I will make sure I drop the information so that you guys can purchase this book. This is a great read. So reading this book, man, I found out a lot of interesting things, and you have overcame a lot of different things. So kind of walk us through your beginning until now, because I think it's very highly impressive.
That's a long story, King.
This is like a movie. Just kind of paraphrase a little. Just tell them what made you go into education.
Okay, I'll start there.
Okay.
I think there's many reasons why I got an education. One of the reasons is I tell this every time I go around the country, just so I can remind people and remind myself why I do what I do. I grew up in Miami, Florida. So even though I'm in New York right now, people say, well, what part of New York you from? Because you got a Southern accent. I ain't never heard that before in New York. So I'm originally from Miami, Florida. And I grew up with 2 homeboys, Ty and Steve.
Yeah.
And man, these were my boys, Shay. I mean, we did everything together. We played ball together. We hollered at girls together. That's why I told you, wait until we did everything.
Oh, that's why. Give me the story. Come on, we getting juicy.
Hey, listen, I almost feel like I know him because I read the book.
And and these boys was dope. I mean, they were phenomenal in basketball. They were doing all that and one stuff. They were playing football and just amazing young men. And we went to elementary school together. We went to middle school together. High school, we went to 3 different high schools. I went to a high school called Deerfield Beach High School. Shout out to the Bucks. And immediately when I got on campus, they looked at me and I was 6'2" at the time. I'm now 6'4", and I was 6'2", 200 and something pounds. They said, "You're going to play Division I football." And everything they did aligned with me playing Division I football. My homeboys, Ty and Steve, they went to 2 different type of schools. They went to those schools that were disciplined first, that were always talking about suspension. They made a mistake. They got kicked out, made a mistake, got kicked out, and they disengaged from the educational setting. They got suspended all the time. They both got arrested and went to jail. I graduated from high school, got a college degree, and this is where I'm at now. Unfortunately, my boys Ty and Steve, because they found themselves in unsavory behaviors, they end up going to jail, and by the age of 25, they both were killed and gone. So for me, why that brought me into the education field, before I did research, before I read any book, I knew experientially for Black males, when we don't get a high school diploma, there's a high correlation between no high school diploma in the graveyard. There's a high correlation between no high school diploma and modern day slavery, which is the prison system. So for me, what drives me every single day, that had me flying around the country, had me working with schools, had me doing everything I do, is understanding that for young brothers, they got to get educated, because if they don't, the what's out there in the world statistically is not favorable for them. So that's what brought me into education. Now you're right. I got a bachelor's degree, 2 masters, and a doctorate degree, but it didn't come without struggle. And even though I graduated from high school, I graduated illiterate and couldn't read. So, it's and the reality for Black people who ever listening to this, we graduate high school, 86% of us can't read on grade level. That's a statistic that is true in 2022.
It's facts.
It's facts. It's facts, right? Yeah. No cap in that one.
Right.
I too graduated from high school and didn't know how to read.
Yeah.
And to see where you at, and see where both of you guys at now, it just we are resilient people. You know what I mean? And I must say, I was educated in the Detroit public schools, and I had some really, really great teachers, phenomenal teachers. And it's sad because the school where I attended is no longer there. The area where I live, there's no schools. So currently it's a up and coming area, but where do you take your kids to school if you don't have money to give them bus fare and Uber to get, and you don't have a car? So I feel like kids are forced to drop out or to quit. I can remember a lot of kids didn't have the latest and the greatest clothes. They wanted to drop out. Some people just didn't have people in their family where they can look up to make them want to succeed or finish school because their parents didn't go. Yep. So in that situation, like as a former principal, what was your personal mission and vision for your students?
One thing I say, man, shout out to the D, man. I was in there a couple of weeks ago, man. I'm working with some schools out there in Detroit. So, man, shout out to my people in the D, man.
Cool.
So what my personal vision and mission was to make sure that all my young people graduated. I took over school. Graduation rate was about 60% when I got there, and by the time I left, it was 87% and 93% for Black males in a city like Detroit. Buffalo is a tough city. I think top 3, top 5 most segregated city in the country. So we're in a real hard-nosed city where poverty runs rampant, especially on the east side of Buffalo, where majority of the Blacks Black people live. And so my vision and my space was to make sure that all of my young people graduated from high school.
Okay.
That and the promise I made to my parents was that you're gonna graduate from high school. If I got to go to their house and drag them out the bed, I'm gonna do that. If I got to pull up at you at the park and pull you out the park, I don't care if you smell like you got Kush cologne on. I'm pulling you in my car and saying you're gonna take your butt to school.
Right.
You're gonna graduate, and my promise is I'm gonna get you to the military. I'm gonna get you to a trade school. I'm gonna get you to a 4-year university. But you're gonna be something if you're gonna be around me. And everybody's gonna push, and everybody gonna make sure you succeed because we love you. And love is I'm gonna hold the standard and make sure that I get you to where you need to get to because I know what's waiting for you out there in these streets.
Okay. So would you say that a lot of those your male students were they fatherless sons?
Some of them, right? But I don't like to perpetuate stereotypes, right? Because there's a lot of brothers that are in the house. There's a lot of brothers that are around. So some of my young men didn't have fathers, but they had me.
Yeah.
So, but there are a lot of brothers that they might not be with the mama, but they're around, or
Gotcha.
maybe father isn't there, but there's a role model. So, for me, I try to make sure that we're telling the right story
for sure
when it comes to our Black and brown children. Yes, you ain't got to raise your hand.
No, I don't be want to interrupt. So
you want to do this? Like, stop talking. You do that?
I got a question. So I don't necessarily directly manage hourly, but I have supervisors who manage the hourly, and our ratio of employees are really young as far as the age group goes. And they're around the ages between, I'm just going to throw out, hypothetically speaking, 23 through 14, through 18 through like 23. How do you motivate, or what are some of the suggestions that you have that I can take back to my team to motivate the youth that we have, to give them the work ethic that they want to be there? They want to do the job that they're being paid for, and they want to give quality service.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a loaded question, like, right? And I don't know the culture of your building or your organization, because you the boss's boss. So
the culture is predominantly all African American. It's in the city of Detroit. We are a tier 1 company, so we make parts for the big 3s. So it's a manufacturing company. As I said, the age range that the supervisors complain about trying to manage is between the ages of 18 to like 23, maybe ish. And they always complain to me that, we get people who don't care. They don't care. And I know that's a big deal, but how do they motivate people who don't care and don't really have a desire to want to care? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so when I said culture, I didn't mean demographics. I meant actual what's the philosophy, what's the thinking at the organization, right? So if the thought process is we have these young people around this age group that don't care, but they're showing up to work, but they're just showing up unmotivated, then the question is, do we have them in the right position? Do we have them operating in a place where they see the value and they see the importance of the work they're doing? But also as a leadership, when they walk into your building, are you looking at them through the lens of as if they don't care? Or are you looking at them through the lens of saying, oh man, listen, Shay, you came to work today? Man, thank you for coming to work. I appreciate you. Like, how are you treating them when they walk into the door? Because if they showing up every single day and they not calling off every single day, they care about something. Even if they just caring about getting the paycheck, there's something that's drawing them there. And if you're creating a culture or an environment where the perception that you have is that they don't care, then you're creating that atmosphere that they don't care, and you get in the productivity that you get. And so there has to be a paradigm shift from the leadership, from top down, to say, hey, listen, we're going to create a organization that we're going to work hard, but we're going to have fun while we do it. So what things do we do externally to motivate these young people when they come in? Do we have any incentives for them? Do we do anything to all these little things that you do? Are they bought in? Do they know the vision? If I went to your organization right now and asked every one of them young people, and even your supervisors that you supervise, do they know the vision of the organization? Do they know why they're working? They understand it for the big three, but do they care about what they're doing, or are they just punched in? Do they feel valued? Do they feel important?
Hold on.
No, hey, see, look,
I'm trying to make some notes and you talking. Wait a minute.
Yeah, listen, you put me in a situation where you
right, and
keep going.
Okay, so I like the vision. I like where you're going. Where are they being treated? Because that was one of the things that I talked about in one of my meetings with the supervisors was, you can't treat each person like the last. You have to individualize them, because everyone who you assume, when you assume, they say you make an ass out of yourself. So assuming that someone doesn't care, it makes yourself look stupid, because they could very much care, and that was one of the things I told them when people miss work. Instead of being upset that they miss work, when they come back to work, you greet them like, man, I missed you yesterday. What happened? Right. We missed you. The team couldn't do this because of you. Mm-hmm. So our culture is definitely a good culture where we truly strive to motivate, uplift. Part of our principles is fun. We play music, I'll sometimes go out on the floor and high five and, laugh with them. I think my issue with where we're trying to go is the supervisors, I think, get blindsided. And one of the things you said was, how are you looking at them? That resonated with me, because I think they're not individually looking at them. They're judging them as a whole versus as an individual person. So,
and then one thing I say is, when people do leave, do you do exit interviews to figure out why they left?
Yes, we do.
And then when you compile that data, what is it telling you? And then when you're looking at that data, you say, hey, I actually applied for this job. I actually said, I'm going to go apply for this job and I'm going to show up. But something happened between the time I got the job offer and I was excited to the time I decided to leave and say, bump this job. What is it? And you got to figure that out as a supervisor and stop blaming the individuals, but look at the system that you are creating. I used to work for bad supervisors, and I took every break possible. I took smoke breaks, and I ain't even smoke. I was outside just wondering why I'm still here, because this is some nonsense. I hated it there. So you got to figure out what kind of environment. You say it's fun, but is it fun for them?
Exactly.
You might think it's fun. It's fun for me. You in the air conditioner. I go out there and high five people, but is it really fun for me?
But Kevin, how much am I on the floor?
I don't know. I don't even know.
No, I said Kevin.
I mean, you on the floor. I think you be on the floor a lot, and they're young. My question is, a lot of these schools, for me, one of the things I wish I had in school was a financial literacy class or some type of course to introduce me into, learning about credit or some type of program that prepared me for the work world. We didn't have that. I do know they had some type of vocational for some schools, but not all schools. What is some programs that you would implement to high school students to prepare them for the workforce so that they can have that good work ethic?
Again, I'm not making the assumption that they don't have the good work ethic. Mm-hmm. I will say that the things that I implemented at my schools and my book, but most schools have economics in the school that should be teaching them about stocks and teaching about some sort of introduction to financial literacy and credit and those type of things. That should be in econ, which most kids are taking their senior year in high school. One thing that we had at my school was career technical education programs where kids were actually building houses. They actually were doing plumbing, and I was part of the task of bringing in Urban Teacher Academy, where we started training young people how to become their own teachers, like teach. One thing that I would say that I don't see enough of in school is the entrepreneurship classes, where you're teaching young people how to become entrepreneurs. I was in Georgia. I was in, Gwinnett County, or where was I in Georgia? I was at a school speaking to some kids. And I thought it was dope because they would teach them how to become entrepreneurs. They'll teach them how to create their own money and create their own wealth. I think one of the biggest things that we do that is a detriment to young people, especially in the Black and brown community, is we force everybody to become employees. And we're not training and teaching people how to be bosses. We're not teaching people how to follow their passion and follow their dreams. So then we get so tied in and going after the bag and trying to go after money that we're trying to put people in certain spaces and not telling them to find the answers for how they want to live within themselves. Because if you find a thing that you love and that you're talented with your talent, then it's dope. No one would have told you to that when you were in high school that you'll be doing podcasts, because it ain't really exist.
Right.
So some of the things that's out there is not even out there yet. And it's going to happen from a young person listening to their heart and following their dreams.
Yeah.
Wow. What was your greatest experience doing your tenure as a principal? Well, that's a 2 question. What's your greatest and your worst experience doing your tenure as a principal?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I don't even look at things as a worse or experience, because even though I got a vote of no confidence my first year as a principal, the union coming at me so hard, but that's one of my greatest experiences.
The union, okay,
because they taught me how to stick with it. They taught me how to fight. They taught me how to overcome. And as somebody who's a consultant right now, and my job is to go around the country supporting principals, I can tell them, push the envelope. I can tell them that at the end of the day, they might talk about you, but they can't stop what God has already started on the inside of you. So, let the haters hate, because they're gonna be the ones to elevate you. So even though that was even though quote unquote that was a bad experience, and the union hates your boy, they still got articles up about me right now. They hate me with a passion. I hate them too. Not joking. But I think one of my best experiences, man, I had a kid that was always getting in trouble, always getting in fights, and man, he was in some stuff in a bad way, man. But we just kept working with him and And every time he came in, I kept putting my arms around him. The day of graduation, we were doing graduation outside, and I gave him his diploma. He hugged me real tight. And then he walked off the stage and he hugged his daddy. He hugged his daddy for it had to be 20 minutes. No lie, no cap. I'm saying it all in undercase. He hugged his daddy for like 20 minutes. I'm watching this. I'm thinking like, boy, you got to move on. I asked my assistant principal. I said, what's going on? She said that he was the first kid in their whole family that ever graduated with a high school diploma.
Wow.
Man, that broke me down, man. Because I know any other school with things that he was going through and the drama and the gang violence, all the stuff he was going through, we had to hide him in classes sometimes because he was just in some stuff. He went and graduated. He graduated with a high school diploma. He live out in Atlanta right now. He's doing well. I'm proud of him. He actually one of the kids on my book.
Aww.
Wow.
Now, so them kids, them young people on my book.
Y'all got to get this book, y'all.
The young people on my book, they my boys, meaning they all graduated from my school.
Wow.
And I intentionally didn't put them in no suit and tie. I kept them just like that. Why? Because I wanted people to see that when they see us, they see success.
Amen.
That's why, man, I ain't get on this podcast with no suit on, man. I got my hoodie on, man.
Right.
I'm still me, man.
Yeah.
I'm showing up as my authentic self because I want when y'all see me, you see, we changed the paradigm. We changed the idea of Black men.
I like that. What other strategies would you suggest to improve graduation rate?
What other strategies besides the strategies that's in my book?
Yeah. So listen, for the ones that don't know the strategies, drop a couple of the strategies that you noted in the book.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to create some new strategies. thought you want me to
No, the
freestyle
strategies in the book.
strategies. Like, yo, give me, Doc. I know what you wrote in the book, but freestyle some strategies right now. Off the rip.
No, some of your strategies in the book, because there were some great strategies.
Here's a strategy, man, that everybody can do. And people look at me when I'm crazy when I say this, but you got to love children. You got to love kids. And when they walk into the building, you say, man, I care about you as a human being. And we got to stop playing these games like, oh, well, I don't know how to talk to a kid because they black. Man, I ought to slap your face. Treat them like a human being when they walk into the room and say, listen, tell me how you feeling. If you are a school and you have black children in your class and you didn't talk to them about this shooting that happened in Buffalo, shame on you and shame on your profession, because you should have had a conversation and said, how do y'all feel? And give them a time and space to talk about this and express themselves and stop being timid talking about, well, I don't know and I don't want to say the wrong thing. Not saying anything is the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Especially if you say that you care about me and you want to see me be successful. See, people don't care about, they don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. I want to know how much you care about me. And for black people and brown people, we are relationship people, meaning I need to have a relationship and then I'll work and do everything you asking me to do. But if you just trying to dictate to me and tell me what to do, I ain't gonna do nothing for you because I know you don't care about me. So you'll tell me to pull pull my pants up, but I ain't gonna listen to you because you don't care about me. And I know you don't care about me, so I'm gonna say, get out my face.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's important. I talk to my nephews all the time and encourage them, because at the end of the day, I know they're looking at me. I have to be an example for them. And I always tell them, I don't tell them, hey, school not for you. What I do tell them is, hey, you have to get you have to go to some school. Now, whether it's a technical school or university, you need that. It's imperative as a black male, you need some higher learning. But I hear a lot of people who say college is, what would you say to the people to say college is a waste of time? It's a waste of money. You can't do nothing with a college degree. I always tell them, oh, but you can. I'm a living testimony of that. That, when I graduated last year with my master's, even though in my company you can't move up, because you have to have a master's, there's that work. It's always that work politics, and like I'll be sharing with Shay, I don't complain about stuff. I know to take my talent elsewhere, and I think it's important that, we try to have some type of skill and some type of, not just degree, but some type of skill under our belt. How important you think is that? What do you say about the people that say, well, I don't want to go to school because it puts you in debt? I mean,
so there's two questions you asked, and congratulations, brother, for getting your master's degree, man. That's dope. I give you some of that, man.
Thank you.
That's dope, man. I'm proud of you, King. So you asked two questions. What do you say to the people who say that the kids don't have to go to college? I say, do you say that to your own kids? That's my question. I remember my students was telling me, we got something in New York called Advanced Regions Diplomas, and I was pushing all my kids to get the Advanced Regions Diploma because I was trying to get them to compete. Mm-hmm. And so I told them, and they were telling me, the teachers are saying that you don't need these extra classes in ELA, math, and science to graduate, and you could just do the bare minimum. So I brought all the kids, 1,200 kids, into the auditorium, and every teacher, and I said to them, I said, listen, I said, if folks are telling you that if you don't need this extra science and this extra classes to be successful, I want you to ask them when they say that to you, do they tell their kids the same thing? Do you say that to your own kids? And oh man, people were looking at me like they was mad. But I said, y'all can't whoop me in any day of your life, so I'm okay with this. So I said, listen, if you ain't gonna tell that to your kids, don't tell them to my kids, because I look at these children as my kids. And then second, debt, don't get in debt. I mean, you get in debt when you buy a house, ain't you? You get in debt when you buy a car. The best debt is
I think when the people was talking to, and I'm talking about certain people, when people say you don't have to have an education to, be successful, I think those are some people genuinely feel like they've made it in life where they make good money, and it's like, hey, I don't have a degree, so I'm okay. And to me, that's a very scary situation to be in, because if something happens to that organization that you've invested all that time in, you know, you really don't have anything that you can kind of rely on in the event. You don't, you know, that's the only skill that you have. But then you have some people who are genuinely, like you just said, haters, who lazy and they've gotten complacent in where they are, and they'll tell you to make you feel like what you did or trying to do is pointless, to discourage you and discredit whatever it is you put work into. So you got two different kind of people when it comes to those things. I don't think everyone means it in a malicious way when they do say, you know, I don't need a degree to be successful. I think that they're saying, hey, I'm in a place right now where I'm good, and I didn't need a degree to get where I'm at now.
No, and I respect that, right? Because there's people who open up stores who don't got no degree. I got a homeboy who got several businesses. He don't have no degree. My boy sell cars. He got a convenience store. He's just an overall hustler, and yeah, that's dope. I mean, that entrepreneur life, and he making way more money. The young King was making more money than I was when I was principal, and he was out there. He was just hustling, flipping cars, doing this, doing that. So you don't necessarily, if you know exactly what you want to do. That's like me telling Kanye West he need to go back and get a bachelor's degree after he dropped out, right? I'm not going to tell him that. Right? 50 said, hey, I hire people around me that got Harvard degrees, so I ain't got to get one. But I will say is, if you're not going to go to college and you're clear on where you're trying to go, if you're trying to hustle, not illegally, but you're trying to hustle to go get the bag, and you know exactly what you want to do, man, go live your life. Right. Do you, right? So I'm not gonna knock anybody, you know, because college for me, I needed it to get to where I needed to go to do the work that I care about. Now, for somebody who says, man, I'm going to go open up a convenience store, I'm going to go work in my dad's business, I'm going to create my own wealth, man, go for it.
Right.
So I ain't tripping on either or. Just know what you want to do and go after it.
Right. One thing I admired about you, Shay, how you did with your son, used to make him read something every day when he was in school. Then used to make him read like "I Am a King" or something like.
No, I gave him a quote. You know, before he would get out of the car, I would quote him something, and he will respond to my quote. So you know, that was it. No, I didn't make him read anything, but he would cry because he didn't know how to read. So he would always say, I can't wait till I learn how to read, because he didn't know how to read when he was a baby. And he would always, as we would ride down the street, it's so funny that was one of his passions, because it was such an embarrassment to me, you know, when I was in school and I didn't know how to read. So my first year in college, I flunked. So I had to drop out to self-teach myself how to read. And then I re-enrolled myself back into college. Once I felt comfortable where I could articulate words, I could spell them, I could pronounce them, and I could understand them. So reading was such a big deal to me with him. And for him to be so passionate about reading and education was just a confirmation that I was going in the right direction, and I was definitely taking the right steps to protect his future. So,
and can I say this, Black people, if you're listening, man, listen, don't beat yourself up, man, if you're struggling in areas academically, because reading, writing, math, all of these are skills. And oftentimes we go to schools that are not teaching us the skills adequately. And so now you looking at yourself and say, oh man, I'm dumb, or looking at yourself in an inferior manner and being embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I couldn't read. Again, my story is similar to Shay. I had a 1.4 GPA my first year in college. I was spelling words like the DA. And I submitted my first paper in ELA 101. It had so much red on it, and I thought she was blessing it with the blood of Jesus. I thought, oh, well, this must be good.
We must have went to the same college with the same professor.
Right. So, you know, but I'm a doctor now. So, you know, and an author.
And an author.
and published several articles. And I still show up with my authentic self, right? I still show up, and you still hear me and say, man, that boy, he still sound Miami, Florida. I'm still Miami,
I
Florida.
love the way you talk and the way I was going to say something about it, that I like that you're able to not be so over the top, but over the top. I love it. I love a natural, authentic person that don't have to be like this in order to be like that. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You make men, boys, younger boys, men, and other people feel comfortable at, first of all, like you said, making them feel like, hey, you know what? You don't have to feel infuriated about anything. Secondly, you can do anything, and it doesn't require a particular look. You can look however you want to look and be just as successful. So that part I really like.
Yeah, because people have this ideology that, okay, success look like this. You need a custom made suit and a tie and this. And, you know, being who you are, you'll be able to capture the students in the urban community. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's good that you do that and you authentic and people can understand and kind of, more importantly, relate to you.
Well, the thing that, you know, the thing that I had to come to a realization, because, you know, my Southern accent being up here in the North, people thought I was slow because I had a Southern accent. But I came to a realization that how are we defining intellectual ability? Because if we're defining intellectual ability by my dialect, then where they do that at? But are we defining it by my degrees? Because if we're defining it by college degrees, I'm smarter than most people all the time, but not when I walk into a room, because I got more degrees than most people in the country, in the world. So, you know, I'm good in that space. I'm good in that space.
Okay.
Who getting pizza? I heard a doorbell.
I gotta go get this. Y'all, we live. My bad to the beard.
You good? Because I want to get some water.
Hold on.
All right, just come on back. Come on back.
I'm gonna come right back. Hold on.
All right, I like him.
Listen,
really cool.
Hey, listen, that pizza came. He said, "Uh-oh."
I'm like, wait a minute. I heard a doorbell. Okay.
But listen, you know, I think this conversation is important because, you know, his book, guys, and I'm not just saying that. This book is called What Success Looks Like. And I'm telling you, you guys have to get this book because this is what success looks like. I'm
back. You know what? Listen, what happened was I ordered some Chinese food. The Chinese food got left on my neighbor's door. She came over. I was like, man, the Chinese lady got a doggone dog in her hand. What they do this? She's like, oh, left on my.
Right.
Hey, it's 9 o'clock and I'm just getting dinner, so you know I'm working hard.
Right. Question. Sorry about that. I had a call. I thought it was on Do Not Disturb. So let me ask you this: would you say that the school dropout rate is higher in boys or girls, or it just depends on that school district?
No, it's higher than boys.
Why is that?
Oh, you're not about to ask me no question like that.
I mean, you know, I know the question, but I guess I just kind of want you to just reiterate.
Well, here's the reason though. I was
gonna say, I want to know.
Yeah, here it is, man. We know what it is. The same reason why that black males have the lowest graduation rates is the same reason why we make up 6% of the country and only 6% of the country and over 37% of the prison population. It's the same reason why we refer to special education 3 times higher than anybody else in the country. It's the same reason why we're suspended 3 times higher than any other population in the country. It's the same reason why that man put his knee on George Floyd's neck and killed him. We know what it is racism. The reason why we don't graduate at a high rate is because there's a propensity that when you look at us as criminals. You look at us as sex objects. You look at us either fitting in the mold. Either you gonna dance for us, sing for us, or entertain us with your body through athletics. So if you don't fit in that mold, then it's hard for me to shift my thinking, because I'm not looking at black men as having master's degrees and being engineers and being doctors. I've never in my entire existence had anybody walk up to me and say, man, you look like a doctor. I had on a 3-piece suit the other day, had a $2,000 watch on, and my shoes was cleaner than a board of help. I was sharp. This lady had the audacity to walk up to me and say, are you the head of security? I almost threw down her papers. But that's the thought process we have when we see black men. So that's what it is. I mean, if you want to boil it down to the most simplistic answer, that's what it is.
So like
but here's the thing. Here's what we want to blame it on. We want to blame it on rap music. We want to blame it on fathers not being there. We want to blame it on poverty. We want to blame it on all those type of things. But the research don't suggest that.
Okay.
The research wouldn't suggest those. And man, I'm gonna argue with you. I'm not y'all, but people want to argue with me all the time, and they ain't done no reading. So if you ain't read nothing, we not arguing. We not arguing. We not even debating. You just talking stuff out of your neck. I'm talking stuff from research, but we not even really having no conversation.
Right. Okay.
So, what was it? It was a conversation. I won't say argument. It was a conversation about black men, and not even black men, just our race as a whole. I want to know, and this is just me asking a question, playing devil's advocate. You said the system's rigged for black men, right?
No, I said the system is racist for black men. Yeah,
rigged.
If you want to boil it down to rigged, but yeah.
But you were successful in the same system that you said was rigged.
Was I though?
What do you define success as?
So here's the thing. I said if you don't fit into Tyrone, there's a book called Blackmailed. If you don't fit into one of these categories, if you ain't singing, dancing, or playing some type of sports,
right,
they dismiss you. But if you can bring money to the seats, they move you along. I graduated high school, I couldn't read.
Right.
How's your success? You pushed me on because I was a football player.
But what did you
do? Because my body brought money into your seats. You pushed me along.
But you took the steps to defeat that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that?
Okay, so you just don't want to read the book. I realize this. I'm just about to tell you.
I'm messing with you.
I love my people in front of D.
Okay, so listen, I wanted to try to understand that you and I have a similar story. Mm-hmm. We couldn't read and we persevered. I have an issue with people who want to continue to blame the system for their failures and use that as a crutch when I'm looking at two, for sure, successful people now because we made a conscious decision to not become a victim of our circumstance. So when people tell me, well, my brother went to jail because he was a black man and the system was set up for him to sell drugs. So that's why he sold drugs. And then he got caught up in the system and went to jail. I don't feel sorry for him because he made a conscious decision to decide to sell drugs versus to getting a job. And he used it as a crutch, or her, not, I'm just saying him, but vice versa. So I have an issue with that.
Yeah, okay. But I think that I think my boy Andre 3 Stacks said it better. He said, "Man, how you gonna tell me not to sell drugs or selling drugs is a sin if you don't give me no other opportunities to win?" I'm not knocking my boys that's trapping. I'm saying I got to give them other opportunities for them to be successful. So if the only opportunity you see is for you to enter a trap because I got boys who sold drugs, my family sold drugs. I'm not tripping on you like that, right? So I'm saying I got to give you another opportunity for you to be successful. If I never present no other opportunities and you hungry and there ain't no water on in the house, ain't no lights on, nobody in the United States in one of the most wealthiest countries in the world should not have food. They should not have water. They should not have lights. They shouldn't be living in places where there ain't no heat on. But if that's my reality and you telling me to go get a job, man, this is my opportunity right now to put some food on the table. So before you say I'm wrong, give me another opportunity for me to be successful.
But why do I have to give you anything? Why can't you go get it?
Because you took a lot of things away from me in the beginning, though.
I grew up in poverty. I didn't have food all the time. My lights was cut off. We had to boil our water on the stove. We had to turn the oven on so the heat could come in the house because the heat was off. I did not fall victim to my circumstance. So if I didn't do it, why is it okay for someone to say, hey, I shot this woman in her head because my kids needed to eat and I've been to jail for 5 years. So I went and robbed somebody's mama, killed somebody's daughter, kill somebody's auntie to validate the system didn't give me no way to go. So this is the option that I took to take somebody's life. I don't understand that.
Hey, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying I'm not judging you.
Okay.
Because everybody has their own way of dealing with life, right? And we talk about mental health. So thank God, Shay, that you blessed enough to have that internal drive and that resilience on the inside to go make that happen. But everybody don't got that, right? Everybody doesn't have that. And when you look at, and I don't want to say system, I'm gonna be clear. I'm gonna say something that we understand. When we look at the communities that a lot of our young people are going through, the opportunities are a lot different for us than it is for them. So we were in Buffalo. I'm in Buffalo, and people at the grocery store just getting killed in the only supermarket in the whole city.
Wow.
Is it only supermarket for the Black people in that community? And you have to put in perspective things like redlining. That we're going to keep a group of people in the most dilapidated parts of the city and not give them an opportunity to even move out. That happened intentionally.
That started when the African Americans began to migrate. They migrated to Chicago, and Chicago was one of the first cities to redline the African Americans to a certain community. The white people did. Most definitely, the Caucasians did that. So, okay.
But you just can't move off that point that quick. You can't just say, well, they did it and that's it. No.
No.
They did it. And it has residual effects.
It did. But my issue, listen, I love my Black people. When I tell you, I will fight until the ends of the earth for them. But I am one that I love accountability. I want accountability for us, and I want us to stop making.
Why you ain't putting no accountability on them, though? Put the accountability on them.
We can't worry about that. We got to worry about that. Listen, we have to worry about our community, our people, and put them first. And the first way to fix something is that we fix it within our own
start at home first.
We wanna protest a white person killing a Black person, but validate why a Black person kill a Black person because the system was set up for us to kill Black people. So we make all these excuses about our bad behavior. Oh, he doesn't deserve to be killed because he only stole 25-cent bag of chips. We're not holding that person accountable. You stole. It doesn't matter the account. It doesn't matter how much it costs. We have to fix our community from within. And the way we fix it from within is holding ourselves accountable for the actions and the things that we do that deserves us to be reprimanded for. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you, Shay, but when you over policing our community, when you're not giving us opportunities educationally, when we walking out of high school and doing 13 years in the school and can't read, when there's systems set up to make us feel inferior, I mean, you trying to hold the victim accountable for the masses that's trying to hurt us, and you're saying put the blame on us. You do right.
I said accountability, not blame.
Okay, put the accountability on us.
Yes.
But you're not putting accountability to the reason why we here in the first place. Y'all got to take some accountability too. Now you can roll your eyes. Now you're an attractive young lady. You can roll your eyes all you want. I'm just keeping it a G with you. Put some accountability on the people.
So I think
I'm not saying that they don't deserve to have accountability. They most definitely deserve that. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I am not saying that in no way should they get away with anything. I totally agree with a lot of things that you say. I'm definitely not saying that what I'm saying is I see so many times that we have these excuses. And when I say we, I listen to the guys at my job and they have all of these excuses of why they do some of the craziest stuff. And I'm like, if you can consciously decide that you want to sell drugs, but you don't have any warrants, you have never been to jail, but this is a quick way to get money, and then you want to blame the system. Well, the unemployment rate is this, or the money that I make is low. I only get paid $14. Well, maybe you only get paid when you go in the door at $14, but you could get a raise. You could apply yourself. It's the lack of the tenacity that we invest in our people and in ourselves to go over and be overachievers. We make excuses for bad behavior and the lack of the ability to want to work hard for something that you want.
So I think,
but here's why I disagree. I think we do work hard as Black people.
Okay.
I think we do work hard. I think we are committed. I mean, we built this country. How you think this country was built? How we built the country, and then you say we don't work hard? We were the only hardworking people in the country. I think
our ancestors work hard. I think these generations that's coming now have a ton of excuses for bad behavior. And I will stand on it. And I'll stand alone. And I'm cool with that. I feel that
you ain't alone in that thought process.
Accountability has to definitely come from within first. To me,
mm-hmm.
I want my household to be accountable for throwing stones before I say you cracked my window.
But you're not alone in that thought process. There's a whole group of people on Fox News got that same thought process for Black people.
Don't you?
He said Fox News.
There's a whole group of them on that side that got that sound just like that. I hear you. You ain't alone. You ain't alone.
So the societies respond to Black men totally different than they do Black women. But I get
no, they don't. But I hate when Black men say that. But whatever. Keep going.
No, listen. They do. But I get what you're saying because accountability. So if I sit my nephew them down, because I don't have kids right now at the moment. When I sit my nephews them down, I tell them you got two choices, right? First off, you may not have a lot of the advantages that some people have, right? Being a Black young male, you don't have the advantages, say, as a Caucasian person, right? So I tell them, you got two things. Now, if you already being Black, you got an X on your back for being Black. What you don't want is a felony in addition to that. So if you go and decide to sell drugs, this is what's going to happen. You sell drugs, or if you get anything. I'm not even saying you got to sell drugs to get a felony. If you get a felony, then chances it's going to be really, really short for you, or it's going to be very tough for you to be able to succeed because we already got a mark on our back for being Black. So if you get a felony, you're pretty much done. So I'm like, this is the right way to do it. But if you want to go the other way, yeah, this is quicker money, but these are the consequences you got to pay. This route may not give you the money right up front, but you're going to have longevity. You're going to have your freedom. So I get what she means by, okay, you sit a kid down, and now that they got a felony, they want to say, well, now I can't get a job because I got a felony. Well, take some accountability because you knew this. You see what I'm saying? So I see what she's saying, but I have to say,
here's the thing. Statistically, there ain't that many. What we think? The whole community selling drugs? I ain't never sold drugs before. I ain't never was in that area. I've never even. People like, man, like the things that we think. Like a lot of us ain't out there selling drugs. A lot of young people never even touch these type of drugs, but they still need an opportunity.
I never touched it.
I ain't never even seen crack before. So I
do want to see that though, but I ain't never seen it before.
You want to see crack, huh?
I do.
As grown as you is, that's what you want to. That's what you aspiring to look for. You don't want to see the Eiffel Tower. You don't want to go to Europe. You don't want to. Only thing you aspire to do is see a piece of crack.
I ain't say the only. I said that was one thing I want to see.
A whole list of things you should want to see first before crack.
It is. It's a list, but that's one of them.
So, but we got to start. Again, I don't know. People that's fixated on trying to sell drugs. I think these young kids now know, like, they trying to go out and get a job. They trying to be successful. So I think it's it's how we're looking at the young people that are in front of us. And so there might be some gentlemen that are going through that, are struggling, but that's not the majority of us. That's the minority of us. Really, that's a small percentage of it. And then even when we were going through things where we had, we got to also put in perspective, man. Listen, it is not by mistake that we represent such a small population. We only 13% of the country. Black people, 13% of the country. 50% of the prison population are Black and brown people. That is disproportionate. It only happens when you are being targeted. That does not happen by mistake. So I just don't want you folks to be confused that things that are happening in the Black community are not happening on purpose. So there are some that tiptoe their way out of the system and the traps that's set up for all of us. But for the majority of us, I've been arrested. I went to jail when I was 16. If I was a white kid, I would not went to jail for the same thing they put me in jail for.
I believe that. So I believe that the system is set up for us to fail. In no way do I believe anything opposite. But like I said, it's not saying that what white people or what other cultures do to us doesn't prohibit or slow down our ability to be successful.
I get that. I agree with you on that.
All I'm saying is there are ways that we can educate our community, but in the same breath as educating them and letting them know the traps that were set up for us, that we can also hold ourselves to a certain standard and expectation and accountability.
Well, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah. But there's also
anything different. And I can answer a couple of these questions because one thing for sure, I don't argue about how I feel. You know what I'm saying? These are just, it ain't written in stone like the 10 Commandments. It's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? He asked, do I believe men are treated equal with the same opportunities as women? And I don't. I hear to me, and this is to me, may not be to you, Mr. Smith, but in the field that I work in, I'm treated actually worse than Black men because I'm in a predominantly all male industry.
Right.
And to top it off, I'm in a male industry with white men. I just got a promotion and everyone who works in my department is a white male over the age of 50. I'm in a male industry. So at this point, it is extremely difficult at times to communicate with them. And I'm treated I have to almost be 50 times better than them in order to be successful in their field, which I am. So do I feel that we're treated equally? Absolutely not. Because if I was a Black man, I wouldn't have to do all of that because of the field that I'm in.
Okay.
So no, I feel like we're different. For the next question, would I hold the dealer accountable once I see the crack D? Probably not.
What was the question? What was the question? I hear.
He said.
What'd you say?
He said, what was the question? He said, well, are you going to hold the crack dealer once you see it?
It should not be difficult to understand not only gender difference as it relates to the opportunity. It should also be easy for a Black woman to understand that a Black man's experience challenges are different from a Black woman. And I think back in the days, it used to be different, but they would handcuff our ass, throw us down, put us in the back of the car just like they're handcuffed y'all. It used to be where we was, we could sit in the car and be pretty and they just ask us for our license and be a little rude. Now they yanking us out the car just like they yank y'all. I mean, we're actually more afraid than the Black man is because it ain't really too much that we can do to a male besides, I guess, listen to what the hell he say.
Right.
So, I mean I don't know as far as the depth of it. I will tell you that being in the industry that I'm in, it's some days I struggle with feeling included, feeling like I deserve everything that I've gotten. I feel like I have to prove myself almost every day that I'm capable. I have to go in and not make any mistakes. I have to be almost error proof so that I can feel included in something that I know I worked my ass off and I know just as much as them, if not more.
Wow,
And I think as Black people, we got to protect our own too, though. And I think that's most importantly versus me saying, can I try to figure out what this queen is going through, and does she need to figure out what I'm going through as a king? I think it needs to be a place where we have each other's back and that we support one another. And I think that's most important, right?
And the Black men in my company don't. That's the struggle that I go through. Not only do I get it from the white man, I get it from the Black man who's intimidated by my education, by my success, by my tenacity, by my ability to stand in front of 8 white men, give a presentation, not make a mistake, have my facts right, present it good, and be able to be confident, even though the whole time I'm standing there, I'm looking at their faces. I'm wondering what they thinking. I'm feeling like I'm saying something wrong, but I have to stand there and be confident in all of that, to turn around and stand next to a Black man who questions my ability to be where I'm at just because I'm Black and I'm a woman. That's the struggle that we go through as a woman, and as a successful woman that has fought the entire time to get here, to turn and have to fight with my own Black male brother.
That's why you was giving me all that smoke. That's why you started with all that smoke with me. You was kind of bringing that energy over here. I had to bring you back in.
I was not bringing no in.
I'm not them. No joking.
Listen, guys, I did post a link. It's we at the end of the show, we're gonna take maybe 1, maybe 2 questions. I see we have somebody who have a question. Hold on.
Hey, y'all! I just want to let you know, bearded man. I don't know. I took this interview because I was like, man, I'm just, I pull up on everybody podcast. Right. You invite me, I pull up, but I really enjoyed myself.
I appreciate that most definitely, man. I enjoyed myself and learned some stuff. Let's see. What's up, Art? What's going on? What question you have?
Question. It's pretty much a statement, I guess. Like I typed in the comments, it's about whether or not you want to, you as a person, want to push through your circumstances. I, me again, had a GED, graduated from school with a GED. Sold drugs, did all the wrong things, but decided in my life that wasn't for me. So I took accountability for myself and decided to change my life. And it's about the people you surround yourself with, or the people who come up in your life that's going to push you in the right direction. It's just not always about whether or not you're being targeted, because you can have a small target on your back, but you make that target bigger by the things that you do.
So let me ask you this: what inspired you to want to do something better, not sell the drugs? Did you have role models you looked up to?
Necessarily. Well, me coming up, I'm just like what's your name, Mr. Abraham?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just like you. I'm 6'3". I was 185 pounds at the time. I had a 46-inch vertical leap. So I had I also was all state in swimming. So I was used for my abilities in order to push the school.
Right.
So that's the reason why I end up getting the GED, because I didn't like the way I was being treated by the teachers, because they would use me during the season, and then after the season, it's like they would push you to the side.
Wow.
So, you know, I came in, when I went into high school with a 3.5 grade point average. So I wasn't dumb by any circumstance. I had all honors classes and everything, and just found out that I was being used for the abilities that I had. Just being able to play sports. I was going 3 days out of the week playing sports. So doing that and finding out, like I said, how teachers would treat you. You're as long as it's swim season or basketball season or track season, you don't have to show up for their class. You don't have to do this. And then after that season is over with, oh, you better show up for my class or you get an F. So it's, those circumstances and finding out that they're going to treat you differently just because you're doing or not doing what you're supposed to be doing or what they want you to do.
Wow.
Well, listen, that pushes you to do other things.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you persevered.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. And I take my hat off to you because I got two brothers and we all have different struggles. I wasn't the street guy, so when we talk, I talk from a different perspective than them. I talk as out of frustration because I don't understand. I feel like certain things were given to all of us and we have a bed and you make a choice and you lay in it. You know what I mean? And now that they are not doing those things anymore, I can see the struggles that they have because we already have a struggle because, for one, the color of our skin. So when you add felonies on top of that and other things, it makes the situation hard. Doesn't mean that you can't make it through. It just makes it 10 times, 20 times harder than what it was before. So I look like we lost connection with there you go. There you go. It came back. So Art, I appreciate it. Appreciate you for coming on. Thank you, man. We about to close out the show and I appreciate you, brother. For sure.
Well, I enjoyed you all's conversation.
Thanks, man. We enjoy you
especially
too.
Yours, Shay. I did 14 years at Chrysler, so I understand your fight.
Yeah, I'm not fighting. I won't say that. I'll just say that at the end of the day, it's not as easy as people think it is. Believe me when I tell you, it messes with the most confident people. And I believe I'm very confident, but it's a struggle being a Black woman and always having to validate every single thing you do. And on top of validating it with the other races, you ultimately have to do more validation with your own people, and especially with a Black man. You expect for him to uplift you. When they say we so unprotected, we're so unprotected that men really
fearful.
don't understand that our Black men do not protect us. They don't. Yeah. I could be a white woman, not know half of what I know, and everybody around me will rally for me. The Black man, the Black woman, the white man, the white woman. I could be the Black woman that know more than 20 white women put together, and my Black man will dissect me. You got an attitude. You do this. You do that. It's like
that angry Black woman.
That's fear.
And they pick you until you don't have any confidence left.
That's fear.
And not all Black men, because I won't put that on all Black men. But it's a lot that really need to look within themselves and see the damage that they do to us that makes us feel like we're alone and we have to pick up the torch and be independent and not depend on anybody.
Right.
It's a much
That's
bigger. It's a
that's
much
fear
deeper
within
story.
them.
A much
That's
deeper story.
that's fear.
Fear and
They're
insecurity.
They're afraid that you're gonna take their job, or you're coming after them, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother show.
Right. So Doc, so tell us, where can we find you? Tell us, where can we find your book? Tell us, where can we get the information? Y'all better go get it.
Listen, man, you get it on Amazon, you get it on Barnes and Nobles, you can get it on Walmart. It's being sold in China, it's being sold internationally. So you could just put in what success looks like, put in Dr. Marck Abraham, you'll find it. You can catch me on Instagram, Dr. Marck_Abraham, Dr. Marck Abraham. My schedule in July, I'll be in speaking in Tucson, Arizona. Nice. I'll be in Anchorage, Alaska. I'll be in Texas. I'll be in New York, and I'll be in New Jersey. So if you're in one of them cities, pull up on your boy. I'll be there rocking the house, man, doing my thing. And if you need me to come to your town, your church, your affiliation, holler at me. I'm pulling up. If I got to come by boat, plane, automobile, it don't matter.
He's coming, y'all. He's coming. Right. Thanks, man. I appreciate you just taking the time. I know you're busy, taking the time out to do this, this show with us. It means a lot. And I always see your morning lives and everything, and just very encouraging. I too decided later on this year to go back for my doctorates. So yeah, I'm following right behind you, man.
Let's go. Let's go, man.
So
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, King. Shay, I'm proud of you. Keep doing your thing. And not every black man ain't protecting the black woman.
I said, and not every.
I heard you.
I said, talk to your boys. Why Kevin Samuels want to talk to everybody?
Listen,
talk to your boys.
I ain't never prescribed to that thinking ever in my life.
Thank God. When I say thank God.
Well, listen, guys, this concludes the end of the show. I greatly appreciate everybody for supporting this channel. If you're on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you share. YouTube, please like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody about the channel. We do a live show every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Till next time, I greatly appreciate you guys. Don't forget to go get this book. It is a great read. All right, don't forget what success look like. Go right now. Amazon is waiting on you. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. Till next time.
See you, D. Antonio. Who else? Matthew. All of our Facebook subscribers. Thanks, Art, for coming on. Thank you. And by all means, Dr. Abraham, when I say my hat off to you.
Right. Right.
Y'all like to say y'all hats off, and none of y'all ain't wearing no hats. But I hear y'all over there in Detroit. I hear you.
My cup of water up to you.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, family. Love y'all. Till next time.
I appreciate you, man. That's what success look like, y'all. We out.